3 Israeli hostages were released today after more than 16 months in Hamas captivity. And what we saw today was a reminder of some of the darkest times in human history. Eli Sharabi, Ohad Ben Ami, and Or Levy were emaciated, starved, and traumatized Jewish civilians being paraded before the world by Hamas death cult. And for Jews, this triggered the epigenetic trauma that we carry from generation to generation. Hostage-taking is a war crime. It's a crime against humanity. And now we also saw the grotesque spectacle of gaunt and terrified hostages being forced to thank their terrorist captors who have been systematically starving them. Humanitarian aid has flooded into Gaza by Israel. Over 1.3 million tons of aid has gone in during the war, more than 4,000 trucks of aid a week since the ceasefire. So it's not like Hamas didn't have any food available to give the hostages. We saw the terrorists who surrounded them looking very well fed. This was a decision to starve them. This was starvation as method of torture. And so much of the world, from the Red Cross to the UN's so-called Human Rights Council to UNRWA, has been silent. How can the Red Cross sit there on stage and participate in Hamas's performance, their final act of abuse of the hostages? Do your jobs. There are 76 other hostages still held in Gaza, and we have no illusions about the brutality and barbarism of how they're being treated. We saw it with our own eyes. Hamas was supposed to release a list of which hostages are alive, which ones are dead. They did not. We need to know that, and we need proof that they're receiving food, medical treatment, and adequate conditions. That's what the Red Cross needs to be demanding. Not taking part in Hamas's theatrics, disgusting theatrics that have become worse and worse every week until this despicable low. That's what every state involved in the negotiations, the Egyptians, the Qataris, the Americans, and every civilized nation and organization should be demanding too. Enough with the physical torture of innocent hostages and enough with the psychological torture of their families. And to the celebrities, the activists on campus, and the kafir Karens all over the world who have nothing to say about Hamas but gladly chant from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. I have a question for you. Is this what freedom looks like? Starved Jews being paraded by terrorists and forced to thank them right before being released and discovering that the same terrorists have murdered their wives and their children? That's who you're supporting? And don't think for a minute the terrorists who starve and abuse hostages after murdering their families treat their own people any better. If you want Palestinians to live in freedom, dignity, and in peace, you don't want Hamas from the river to the sea. And when you chant that, you're betraying the same people that you claim you want to help. By now, it's becoming very clear that we must indeed free Palestine. Free Palestine from jihadism. Free Palestine from death cults. Free Palestine from Hamas. But first, we have to bring back all of our hostages before it's too late. Bring them all home now.